Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Good to see you all. How are you all doing? So today I told you that I was going to do maybe something else besides the automation, or not the automation, the optimization that we've been doing. And but I had a little brief, I don't know, moment of productivity last night, I guess, where I just decided to go down the rendering server route for the cards, and that actually ended up working pretty good. I mean, it's not even close to done, but I'll show you what I've got going on there. And yeah, it was a massive speed up compared to the approaches that I was taking yesterday. And also, I don't have to deal with like card pooling or anything like that, at least not right now. And I suspect that, the crashing that I was experiencing yesterday on stream is also due to like instantiating a lot of these card scenes a lot of the time. So anyway, the rendering server approach is a little bit nicer. It's a little bit faster. And the only remaining thing really to figure out with that approach is, first of all, I got to figure out how to get the materials on using the rendering server. So get the materials on the card for like the turn indicator and all that stuff. And then figure out how to do the various animations that I've got set up for the card, because I don't know how to do that with the way I've got it set up either. So it's going to be a little bit of an adventure today. But before we get into that, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting. If it's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely give it a wish list. You can also support the game on Patreon. The top tier here, if you subscribe for at least 1 month, I will send you an Alchemortis Steam key when the game launches, so you don't need to purchase it again. And then I will also put your name in the in-game Alchemortis credits. And I also have my Udemy courses available for purchase. These will teach you how to build complete games in the Godot engine. So check those out if you're interested. You can also join the Discord and come hang out. Talk about game dev, share your own game dev projects, all that good stuff. Anyway, hello Chris, good morning. Hello Nathan, good morning to you. Emerson, welcome back. Hello everybody, hello. So let me show you what I've got going on here. So this is the rendering server version of the card. I've just called it card rendering server. And then I have card old here. So this is the old version of the card. And I still have the old card scene as well, because I'm going to be looking at that. But so this was the old card scene. This is the card rendering server now. Oh, there is no scene for the card rendering server. So the card rendering server is just a node that I can instantiate in code. And it also only instantiates one other node, because I need to be able to detect the mouse areas. So this is actually creating 2 nodes on creation. The node 2D, which serves as the canvas item parent for all the art and whatnot. So when I call create background, for instance, I have this helper function called create canvas item that creates a canvas item on the rendering server, sets the parent to the current item, the current node here, adds that to a list of owned RIDs, because these RIDs need to be freed manually. They're not like ref counted or anything. So I need to manage those RIDs within this class here. But then you could assign a texture here. So I'm just getting the card background texture based on the card size. Then I have this helper function set canvas item texture, which basically just defines the rect that's equal to the texture size and adds the texture to the canvas item. And then I'm doing the same thing for the art, creating a canvas item, setting the texture to the art texture that is coming from the card definition resource. All of that good stuff. And so what I can show you is that, first of all, I have this test card rendering server scene here. So this is rendering all 144 cards. Now this says 40 milliseconds, but one problem is that due to like warm up of the, I don't know, the AI said it was like just in time or, static warm up, whatever. this is taking 20 milliseconds, and then there are some that are taking like 0.2 milliseconds and 0.1 milliseconds here. I don't know where that's coming from necessarily. I think that still might be related to the fact that these are nodes. But if you take out the 20, we're down to like 20 milliseconds for all that stuff. And this is even faster in like a release build of the game as well. But there is even more, there's even more I could do here, because a lot of this problem is like, you see how this says created base card abomination in 0.108 milliseconds? That's actually measuring the overhead of creating a base card script. So that's not even related to the visual component. So this base card, because it extends ref counted, sometimes it takes quite a bit to actually instantiate that. So if I go to my test card rendering server here, you can see that I'm starting the timer here, and I'm just creating that base card, which is just creating that base card instance in here. So just measuring that alone is sometimes a huge time sink. So like 0.108 milliseconds, which is a lot, you know, because if I'm trying to do 144 cards, I can't have anything taking close to that amount of time, because it's gonna add up quick, right? Now some of these are a little bit quicker, but some of those are kind of slow. But still, like if I could get rid of this overhead, like even if it's 0.03 milliseconds for every single card, that's gonna give me a lot more headroom. So I think the plan eventually is to, I mean, there's a couple, like I could still use pooling in here. So there's a couple of options. I could remove the ref counted from this base card here and turn this into a pure C# class, and that would speed things up quite a bit. The other thing I could do is I could just pool base card, like I could create a bunch of base card references and just like use them in a pool, so I don't get the allocation, or not the allocation, but the instantiation overhead. So I may actually end up doing something similar with the card rendering server as well. So even though this is a lot more lightweight, I could create a pool for this as well, create a couple hundred of these singular nodes, right? These are relatively lightweight nodes, and then just cycle through the pool instead of instantiating this every time. So anyway, there's a lot of options here. I like this approach better because it sidesteps the massive instantiation penalty of the cards from the previous approach, but I also have a lot more pathways to squeeze even more performance out of this if I need it. So if we get to this stage of the game eventually, like maybe post-release, you know, Alchemortis, I add 100 more cards post-release. So the game starts with 300 cards or whatever, and then I add 100 more later. You know, I have options to squeeze more performance out of this. So anyway, that's what we got going on. Hello, Meep Dev. Hello, Ninja Link. Welcome back to everyone. Hello, Jagged Daytona. Good to see you again. It's time for game optimization once again. Yes, indeed. The other thing that I'm going to mention real quick, I just learned this last night, and I'm just going to mention it because it may help you a lot. And I actually think I need to go and redo a couple of places. So I just realized that control nodes have a has point method that you can override, and this, whether this returns true or false, determines whether the mouse has entered or exited the control. So this is solving the problem where I have control nodes that have like polygonal shapes, or like for my cards, the way that I was detecting the mouse areas previously is I was creating an individual control node for each cell that the card occupies, and then I was grouping those together with my own code to detect when the mouse entered the area and when the mouse exited the area. But it turns out you could just have one giant control that just covers the bounding box of the card, and then you can override this has point to do a more fine-grained check about whether the control actually contains the point. And Godot just uses that automatically, so then the mouse enter, mouse exit signals will work for any like arbitrary shape you want. So what you could do even is you could define a polygon in here and then just check if the mouse is inside of that polygonal shape in here, even though the control bounding box is still you know, rectangular, this has point for the mouse is, you know, you could put more specific logic in here. Hello, TK. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. Alexor Cash Cull Pool. Is that a common saying in the optimization space? Anyway, so I actually was shocked. So what I did last night is so this card rendering server here. No, I just made it up. Well, that sounds like a saying. That sounds like something that you would hear in like optimization circles. So I wrote up this card rendering server last night, and my approach for migrating is I basically took all of the methods that exist in the old card here, or the card old, and I just put those in this class, but I stripped out all the functionality. And this is just so that the class contains the same methods with the same signatures as the old card. And then I went through the entire code base and I replaced all references to this old card with the new card rendering server. So it was just like a drop-in replacement. And I was expecting things to be horribly broken because all I'm doing in this card rendering server here is I'm just showing the card background and the card art. But you'll have to check this out because let's see if we could get there. So look at this. So there's going to be no animations and there's no highlighting and anything, but look at this. All of my logic still works, like my drag and drop and my mouse stuff and the tooltips. All that still works. It's just the animations are no longer here because I haven't implemented those yet. So like everything is still working, and these are all those card rendering server nodes. And it works, as far as I could tell, everywhere. Like if I go to the inspector, it's there. It's there. I haven't tried the alchemy yet. Also, it looks like the tooltip is still... Oh, I am not disabling that mouse area, I don't think, when I'm dragging the card. So that might have been an oversight on my part, but that's okay. We will figure that out. But anyway, so yeah, it was just a drop-in replacement for what I already have. That automatically works. Now there's no animations for that part, but yeah, everything's fine. This is just working. Now I'm probably going to have issues with managing these RIDs. Like I need to figure out how I actually want to, well, let me think. So there's a little bit more like of my own management I need to do. I need to make sure that these resource IDs, is it all right? I don't know if that actually stands for resource ID. I think it does. But I need to make sure to free these when I'm no longer using them. So that's going to be a little bit tricky, I think. But what's the worst case, right? What's the worst case? I just use up 5 gigabytes of the player's RAM. That's all right. Anyway. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. Really like the solution. Thank you, Raphael. Welcome back to the stream. Gustavo Orange. Welcome. Gustavo Rangel? I don't know how to read your name. It's all lowercase in one word. But welcome back. Good to see you. I think you've been here before. So the main thing that I want to figure out before I go too deep into this is I want to figure out how to do some of the shader stuff. Gustav or Angel? Gotcha. Is that how it is? I don't know. So the one thing that I think might be easy is doing that turn indicator. The other thing that I'm noticing, I think I have Oh, did I not get any? Oh, okay. Anyway, so let me look at my card here. So I don't actually know how to set materials through the canvas. But so card turn indicator. So the first thing that I need is I need the border mask. So let's do create turn indicator. We'll see how this goes. Create turn indicator. So we're going to need a noise texture and an effect color. Card registry, get card border mask. Base card dot absolute occupied cells. Set canvas item texture. So I'm probably going to want to do some kind of material as well, but let's try this. Rendering server dot set dot material create. So this is an RID as well. So I'm trying to create these helper methods for creating these things because like this create canvas item, that will create the canvas item, assign the parent automatically for me, but then it adds the RID to the list of RIDs. So I don't have to do that manually every time. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Material create. So var material RID is equal to material create. Owned RIDs.add material RID return RID. Okay. Var material RID is equal to create material. Rendering server material set shader. Material RID. I need the RID shader. So how I'm gonna do this? Shader. Turn effect.gd shader. Let me do something here. I'm just going to do this in the card script first, so I know what parameters to replicate. So if I make this unique, that's fine. We'll make that unique. We're going to drop the turn effect in here. Shader parameters, turn color, that. Progress, that. Noise texture. What do I want to do for this noise texture? What is the biggest card that I have? Because I might want to just share this noise texture across all the cards. I think I was making them unique before, but I don't think that's probably not necessary. And then my noise frequency. Maybe something like 0.1. Oh wait, noise strength. Noise strength. Oh, why is that here? Let's get rid of that noise strength from there. Never mind. So maybe I'll just let's do 18 times 3. That's not going to be big enough. 18 times 3. Let's do 18 times 10 times 3. 540. That should be probably okay. Actually, let's just go ahead and make it 512. It's fine. And we'll share this noise texture. So I'm going to need to like have a shared reference to this, I guess. I could potentially save this. Can I save this noise texture? I actually don't know. I don't know how to do any of this. So we'll figure that out. We will figure that out. Noise texture. Do I want to do any sort of frequency? Let's do this. Bass noise light. Let's make it a higher frequency on the texture, and then we can turn the noise frequency down here. Okay. That should be fine. Okay, so I need to get a reference to this turn effect. So if I copy this UID, I can make this a static in here. Private, static, read-only. Shader. Turn indicator shader is equal to gd.load shader UID. So what we could do here is we could do turn indicator shader dot get RID. Okay. That works. Rendering server material set shader. Rendering server dot material set param. Okay. Actually, wonder if I could just save this whole material here. Maybe I can actually do that. Can I do that? Material. Create material. Material create. Rendering server. Let me see. Rendering server. Material. Canvas, item, set material. Oh, maybe I can just do this then. Maybe I could just save this material. And that will have all the parameters already for me. So if I go to resources, material. We'll just call this card turn indicator. Save. So if I just load this then. Copy UID. Private, static, read-only, shader material, turn indicator material is equal to new shader material, or no, not new shader material, gd.load shader material. So maybe I don't need to do the create material here. Canvas item set material. Turn indicator RID. Turn indicator material.get RID. I could probably cache that too so I don't have to call that every time. Now the thing is though, oh wait, no, I am going to need to create a new material every time. I can't share this material because I need to change the uniform values on this, and it's going to be shared by reference by default. Okay. Does it work like lazy loading from old school ORMs? Are you talking about the gd.load? I don't know exactly what you're referring to, Raphael. Hello, Viadav. Good day to you as well. When these high fidelity FX look odd on pixel art aesthetic, they're not high fidelity when they get into the game. They get crunched down into pixels. So I actually think I need to do this, unfortunately. Rendering server dot create dot material set shader material RID turn indicator shader dot get RID. I was referring to the new card class. Oh, it's not exact. No, I don't think it's lazy loading. It's just a lot quicker because it's not building out that whole scene tree. The enchantment shader is fixed. Yeah. Yes. Welcome back, Wooius, by the way. Good to see you. Material set shader. Okay, so now if I do rendering server dot material set param material RID. Okay. So now I got to set all the parameters in here. Noise texture. I can save this one, I think. We could do turn indicator noise texture. So it's going to be a little bit painful to load all these things, but that's okay. We'll call this shader param noise texture. Okay. The turn color here, we'll have to set that as well. Noise frequency. We're also going to need shader param progress. And then we're also going to need turn color. Might change this. Let's change this turn color to just color. So the noise frequency is 0.2. Okay. Shader param noise frequency, 0.2. Shader param color. Noise texture. Oh, progress. Probably don't need progress in here. That's okay. So the other problem is I'm going to need to store this RID specifically. So private read only. No, not read only. Private RID turn indicator material RID. Okay. The reason I need to do that is because I'm going to need to tween that. So where exactly is that? Oh, you know what? I don't think I'm connecting to anything in bind to card. So I'm going to need to go to my card old here. Actually, how does that work? Oh, this is its own scene here. Shoot. How am I going to do this? Why do you prefer using Godot over Unity? I never really got into Unity. I think Godot is like super lightweight and it's perfect for my use case, which is making small 2D games. So I don't really see the benefit of using Unity over Godot. It's just more appealing to me, generally speaking. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of Unity experience. There's a good chance that if I ever like got into 3D or something, then I might give Unity a serious try, but maybe not with the way Unity's going either. But Godot is perfect. Like it's a great 2D engine, and it's free and it's lightweight, and yeah, that's basically it. No real reason other than that. I just personally like it. So my card turn indicator here. Shoot. Am I going to need to connect to those signals on here? Notify combat state. It's almost like I need to create... I didn't realize that this card turn indicator was its own scene here. Trying to think of how I want to handle this. I could create... I could potentially rework this so I could keep the card turn indicator. So I'll keep the card turn indicator as its own class, but don't make it extend node, and then have it Have it do all of its own setup here. Does that make sense? I want to preserve as much of this as possible. This material. Okay. I don't know. We're gonna have to play with this. Let me just stage what I've got here. Okay, so card turn indicator, we're going to rename this to card turn indicator old. I'll remove all these old scripts later, but rename this old. Go into here, card turn indicator old. Okay. So we're going to copy this. This is in scripts gameplay. Okay, so we'll do new file. This is not going to extend a sprite 2D. It's going to just be a pure C# class. We're going to get game events. Then we're also going to pass in game speed manager. We don't need this material anymore. Visible equals false. I don't know about that. We're going to have to figure out what to do about this. Oh, also it can't process. Oh. That's okay. Maybe we'll change this. I'll just create a process method here. What happened here? Okay. I don't know what to do about this processing either. Game speed manager. Might need a totally different approach for this. I actually don't know how I'm going to tick this. This is going to be quite an ordeal, but we'll get it. Did you keep going on threading yesterday? Curious if you got it working. No, I didn't. I mean, I kind of got it working, but it still wasn't sufficient, so we're doing something else now. This is mostly just a little fun thing too. Like, I'm not entirely sure if this rendering server approach is going to work out, especially with all this extra logic that I need to do. I'm not totally sure, but I've never really worked with the rendering server directly before, so this is it. Even if it doesn't work out for my game, it's going to be a good learning experience, I think. So I almost want to move all this stuff. Oh, I have a package I need to sign for. Give me just 1 second here. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just in time for my YouTube stream to die. Oh, it's back, I think. Hello. Okay, water okay. Good morning to you. A new Vegas wolf. Sup, G. Welcome. Good to see you. So this is going to be a little bit tricky, I think, actually. I'm going to need to think of a different approach for this. Because obviously, like, I can't... If I'm doing a pure... The reason I'm trying to do a pure C# class here is, like, the whole reason I'm trying to get away from the old card thing is because creating a bunch of nodes has a pretty significant overhead. So if I'm trying to create hundreds of nodes all at once in one frame, I can't really deal with that overhead. So basically, I need to keep this class as slim as possible with respect to the number of nodes that it has. Right now it's 2 nodes. So it's the root node 2D and then the node for the control area for calculating the mouse, whether the mouse is inside or not. So I may need to, I could just override the process method on the card itself, perhaps. Is there anything else in here that's going to need a process? Card UI. This one's going to be a pain in the rear to update as well. Card. Back buffer copy shader rect. I don't know about the back buffer copy either. That's going to be a difficult one. Maybe not, though. Because the other thing, too, is, like, I just need to not create nodes when this is instantiated. But if I need to, I can add nodes conditionally when I need them. That should be no problem, so... So I'm thinking, I wonder if I could just pass in... I could just maybe pass in some callbacks here for being able to toggle the process mode and then have that... Let's see. If I just did action, no. Func bool. No. This is going to be a little bit messy, but we're just going to do this for now. Okay, we're getting there. So create turn indicator. What I can do in here now is turn indicator is equal to new card turn indicator. this is not necessarily going to be ready either. So I could move, shoot. This is already getting messy. What you making this in? Godot. Godot. Someone linked me your channel because my game reminded me of yours. Oh yeah. How long has Alchemortis been in development? Since March of last year. So almost a year. What's your game about, New Vegas Wolf? In my game, I switched to rendering out the scene using IDs instead of colors, so I can look up the texture when I'm hovering for tooltips. So I render it all twice. You switch to rendering out the scene using IDs instead of colors. I don't know if I quite understand that. So using IDs instead of colors so you can look up the texture when I'm hovering for tooltips. Yeah, I don't know if I exactly understand what you're doing there. It's a deck builder too, less backpack heroes adjacent, more Suka game adjacent. Our aesthetic is somewhat similar to, though. Love the Diablo style health bar. Yeah, you could you have to share your, if you want to join the Firebelly Discord, you could share your game there. I'd be curious to see how similar our games are. Just finished the 2D platformer course. Been reusing lots of the components for my side project. Super useful. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome there, Savior. You're welcome. Glad that you enjoyed the course. Oh my gosh, this cat now. Can you go lay down? Go lay down. Go, go, go. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. He's circling my chair like a shark. And here he comes. And here he comes. Can I never work? Am I never allowed to work? I'm not allowed to work, ever. You say no. Maybe if I annoy him enough, he'll go away. Is this annoying? Is this annoying? Is this annoying? Do you want to leave yet? Do you regret your decision? I don't think he regrets his decision. You'll hop in? Cool. Hello, Shirley. Welcome back. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Azir. Yes. He's a cutie. He is a cutie. He's got an annoyance factor that is directly proportional to his cute level. Which is unfortunate, but there you go. There you go. Obligatory cat interrupting the Firebelly stream, yeah. Oh, it's just kind of like, I'm getting into the zone, I'm getting some stuff done, and then the cat's just circling my chair like a shark, looking for an opportunity to jump on me. It's like, yeah. Anyway, he's here now. Not sure it's worth it just to avoid the one node in each card, but I'm using an ECS, so all entities have a U32 ID, a rotor shader which just writes that ID to a texture for everything visible. Oh, interesting. I got you. Yeah, that's cool. It's a summoning circle for cats. What am I going to do with this turn indicator here? So it needs a reference to game speed manager. So what I can do is I can override the ready method here. The problem is with the canvas items that I'm creating here. I mean, I could still create the turn indicator here. And I could store it. So let's do private card turn indicator. I can store it like that. We create turn indicator. We just say card turn indicator equals new whatever. Like that. We can get rid of the game events here. And then maybe what I could do is I could do public void register signals. And then we'll do game events, and then game speed manager. We'll store this here. Okay, so I can create the card turn indicator here. I guess I could just put set process like this. And then when I do the ready method here, I could say card turn indicator dot register signals, game events dot instance, this dot get game speed manager. I don't know if that's going to add any overhead either, but we'll have to see. So I need to override the process method. I don't know if this is the ideal way to do it, but we'll see. So now I kind of want to move these things. I kind of want to move all this stuff into the actual card turn indicator here. Am I using this base card? Oh, I need to register the base card as well. Okay, but now I need to move this stuff over. Turn indicator material. Okay, let's move all this stuff. Although, create canvas item. What am I going to do here? I mean, I could keep all of this here and just pass in the turn indicator material RID. Oh, but I'm going to I need to change the visibility of this though. So I could pass in the canvas item RID and the material RID maybe. I don't know if it makes, because I still need to keep track of all the RIDs in this class, so when it gets freed, I can free it all. I mean, I could do a parallel tracking in here and just make sure to free that as well. Maybe that would be cleaner, but I don't know. Rendering server dot canvas items set visible. Canvas item RID false. So I'm going to remove this, and I'll just do a private method in here. We'll do private RID. Okay, this dot canvas item RID equals canvas item RID, material RID. We could do set visible to false now. This is visible here. Okay. We could do set visible true, set visible false. Now this is where we're going to need to set the shader param. I'll clean this up later. I just want to make sure that I can get this in a state where it works. Shader progress, okay. Set visible, what was that, false? Yeah, set visible false. Set visible. That. Set visible. That. Okay. Notify combat state. Okay, so this is basically just a logic class. Now, it's not actually, well, it's managing a little bit of the rendering server, but just for toggling the visibility and setting that material parameter. So, yeah, I don't know. We will see. I don't know. Any bets on if that's going to work or not? We'll have to check we'll have to check how long that takes too, but I want to see if it works. Then I can take that texture and sample it under my cursor to see what I'm hovering, because instead of a color, it's really an ID. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. Okay. That card turn indicator is not working. Am I doing the shader parameters wrong? Set the materials parameters, shader param color, turn indicator material, canvas item set material. Let me see what this does here. So that seems to have increased the amount of time that it takes as well. So I may need to come up with a different strategy for this. I mean, we still have this aberration taking 24 milliseconds. So if we subtract 24, so we're at 20 milliseconds. And if I get rid of this card turn indicator here, does that go down meaningfully? Still 43 milliseconds. So that doesn't seem to be adding a whole lot of time there. I don't think. I'm gonna get rid of that there. Put that there. Some of these things created a base card voodoo doll at 11 milliseconds. So if we look at the 11 milliseconds there and the 24 milliseconds there, that's 35. So we're looking at like 10 milliseconds. And a lot of that, again, is due to the base card overhead. I'm just trying to make sure that these new things that I'm adding are not, like, acting counter to what I'm trying to do. But it doesn't look like it. May have to come up with a different solution for some of these card effects if I can't create these efficiently, but try it out. Hello, Severus Snare. Good morning. Hello, Evan. Good to see you. Good morning. So now let's just figure out why the card turn indicator isn't working. We'll figure out why that's not working, and then hopefully we can move on from the card turn indicator anyway. So it seems to be working in terms of it's not showing up. It shows this little black. So it's almost like the shader is kind of working, but it's not actually processing. So what I could do is, honestly, I think it's just failing to set the parameters. So what happens if I just do, let's see if I just get rid of all these things and just do the parameter name instead of shader parameter in front of that. I wonder if that's going to make a meaningful difference or not. Nope. We can get rid of this. Okay, now to figure out why this isn't working. Love the map, thank you, yeah. Thank you. It's should be good. Just gotta get this freaking thing working properly. I'm not seeing any errors either. That's kind of the weird thing. What am I doing wrong here? Material set, so we're creating the material. Material. Create. Oh. No? So we have a material. The material will create... We'll set the shader here. Material set param. Oh, I don't want to do get RID here, I don't think. Do I want to get... No, I don't want to get RID here. I want to do just normal texture. Was that the entire issue? Let's see. Nope. So it's turning on to visible here. Let me try something. Oh, we have some errors here. Ah, what is this? Condition p-value get type equals variant object is true. Huh? Did I get all the parameter names right? I don't know. Variant. So the error indicates that I don't know, it seems to be saying that I'm passing in an object and it doesn't accept that. That's what I think it's saying anyway. Shader parameter, noise texture, shader parameter progress, noise frequency, shader parameter color. Well, shoot. What happens if I don't set the noise texture? How long have you been on optimization? Basically all week. Basically all week. The whole point why I'm doing this optimization stuff is because I want to be able to show, like if I go to my unlock menu here, which I think should actually work. I want to be able to show all the cards that the player has or hasn't unlocked in this menu. Oh, it didn't work. Given key aberration was not present in the dictionary. Well, anyway, all the cards are supposed to show up on this screen here. And doing that with like a node-based approach was not very performant. So that's basically the whole reason why. But also I was dealing with some weird crashes, I think, related to instantiating many cards at a time. So I'm hoping that those crashes go away. I wasn't really able to reproduce those crashes reliably. So I don't know, but how is the given key aberration not present in the dictionary? What? Are you kidding me? Oh, I may have messed something up in my unlock menu here, so maybe I can't do that. Oh, right, because I'm still doing the pool. Okay, so I messed this up. I'm still using the pooled system, but I got rid of that in this branch, so I can't show you, unfortunately. I mean, is it easy to just do that again? There we go. We still have those shader errors, but this is what I'm trying to accomplish. I want to show all the cards that the player has unlocked in this screen and make that performant enough where I can toggle between this. Now, obviously, there's other performance improvements I could do, like not recreating this screen every time. But, you know, pulling that menu up for the first time. If every card is a complex node tree, that's going to take a long time. Now this says it took 65 milliseconds, but aberration is taking 31 milliseconds, so I don't know why that's happening. 50 milliseconds. Anyway, we'll have to take a look at this as well. 0.4 milliseconds. There's some other stuff going on here too, though. But this is certainly faster. We'll just have to do some further optimizations to that. But I gotta figure out why this shader isn't working. This is Godot. Yeah, it's Godot. Do I need to pass in an RID here? Maybe I had it right before. Maybe this does need to be an RID. That's interesting. I just don't know how you're supposed to set shader parameters from the rendering server directly like that. Generally, the first task done is the slowest. You need to initialize stuff and load DLLs. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, there's a bunch of other optimization tricks I can pull out of my sleeve as well, but yeah, why is that turn indicator not doing anything? I can do, let's see. YOLO. I wonder if that's process is even being triggered. So the color is not being set correctly, which that kind of indicates to me that the material, that the uniforms are not being set on the shader because it's just defaulting to black, which shouldn't happen. It's printing YOLO, so it is processing. It's just failing to update the uniforms. Why is that happening? Well, I guess it's time to turn to the AI. Do I need to initialize? Hold on, let me try one other thing. Maybe I need to initialize the progress value too? I don't know, maybe not, but let's see. Then we'll ask the AI, we'll see if the AI points out anything that I'm doing wrong. Nope, okay. Let's ask the AI. And I actually was having a chat with the AI last night about how to do a lot of this rendering server stuff. It's surprisingly knowledgeable about using the Godot rendering server, but anyway. Some reason this block of code appears not to be setting the uniforms on my shader properly. Let's see what happens. Are you able to see what the uniform values while it's running? I don't know. Shader expects a float uniform, but the variant conversion can fail silently. Use variant.from or cast explicitly. The material is assigned before the texture rect is drawn. Okay. The order of operations, you're calling set canvas item texture, which calls canvas item add texture rect, and then setting the new material. But canvas item add texture rect must be called after the material is set, or the draw command won't use the material. That doesn't seem right to me, but we'll try it. If that's correct, I'm gonna be very surprised. It was not correct. So the AI just made some BS up. Classic. Well, I mean, this color is already a variant, I think. Maybe not. Well, let's just try this. Oh, that's not right. I need to keep the shader RID up there. Okay, let's see what that does. If this doesn't work, I'm going to be completely stumped again. as per usual. Oh, we got some errors here already. Variant object. Yeah, it's not going to work. Why is that not working? I don't understand this. What am I missing? What if I do the parameter setting? So I create the material. I don't really want, I want to do this up here. Set the material first. This doesn't need to be stored, I don't think. Set the material, set the shader, assign the material, and then set the uniforms. I have no idea. There's got to be something subtle going on here. We could check it, see if we could find the uniform values. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but... visual profiler. Is there a way to... Let's see. Remote... Okay, so we have our cards in here. This is the actual card that I'm using. Oh yeah, I can't actually see the individual canvas items from here. Is there a way to... That's not going to help. Isn't there like an object DB profiler? Take object DB snapshot. Classes, objects. Oh gosh. I have no idea how I'm gonna look through this. Can I even see any shader uniforms anywhere? I don't know how to use this. I feel like if I could identify which materials are the ones created by in that rendering server there. So I can look at the shader parameters in here. I don't know. I don't know if this... The other thing that I'm like not really clear on is... So we've got the card turn indicator here. Well, let's go to the card old here. So this has a material, but this becomes a type of shader material. But there's also a type of canvas item material. But in the rendering server, it's just create material. Is there like another option I need to set? Rendering server... Material... Set shader... the shader is actually the shader code. Material set shader sets a shader material shader. So that's what I'm confused about. So you create a material here, but a material is just a generic thing. It could be a canvas item material, it could be a shader material, but then this says set a shader materials shader. So is there something that I need to do to specifically flag it as a shader material? I don't know. Hello, Junie. Welcome back. Let me try something. I'm going to get rid of, well, let's do... I wonder if I would just want to modify this shader a little bit. I can't return out of that. Okay, we just made it a white square. I want to see if that even works. I'm pretty sure it is going to work. I think it's just the uniforms are not being set. Yeah. So that works. So the shader is actually working. It's actually assigned to the shader, to the canvas item, I mean. So that works. It's just these uniforms are not being set somehow. And I tried it without the shader parameter here. I'm stumped. I mean, the clearest indicator that the uniforms aren't being set correctly is, number one, the progress isn't going, but number two, it's being rendered as black, which is the default color for that shader. So it's not even getting the custom color that I want in the shader. So when I start it, you'll see like a little black line there. So that is the turn indicator starting to work with a progress of 0. So it's basically like all the uniforms are their default values right now. So it's like this setting of the uniforms is just not working for whatever reason. Are you using the correct uniform ID? I believe so. I wonder if there's an example of this in the docs somewhere. So material set param. That's not helpful. Optimization using servers. Creating a sprite. Instantiating a mesh. Why is there no example of how to set up materials on this? I know how to do this much. I do not know. I already tried getting rid of shader parameter. Doesn't work. I mean, I can try it again. I'm pretty sure I tried that. Yeah. That doesn't show anything. I mean, maybe I could just make sure. I could be real sure here. Let's see. We don't care about that. What was I going to do? Oh, in the card turn indicator process. Let's just do gd.print current percent. See if that number changes over time. Oh, I would need to change it here too, right? Maybe that was what's happening. Maybe that's what's happening. There we go. Okay, so it was that. I just forgot to change it here as well. Okay, cool. There we go. And it's getting the noise texture and everything. Awesome. Okay. I'm glad I tried that again. I just forgot because I have this duplicate shader progress in here, which is a little bit unfortunate, but when I previously tried it, I removed it from here, saw that it wasn't working, and then stopped there, but forgot that I had to change it in this as well. So it's probably not good, but I need to, probably will do some cleanup on this. But the important part is that this is working now. So if we go into an actual game, go into the actual game here, and we can do this. And now our turn indicator is working with the rendering server. Excellent. The tween animations are going to be a hard thing to do here. But it's working. That's the most important thing. 44 milliseconds to do 144 cards. One of those is 23 milliseconds though. So we're looking at 21 milliseconds, but some of these renders are taking a long time. Like 0.2. And then the base card overhead. So I think there's room to get this lower as well. But if I go to my unlock menu here, that is so much faster. Oh, that only took 9 milliseconds that time. So the first card placement took 37, but then the second one took only 9 milliseconds. 8 milliseconds. There we go. So I think there's room to shave a couple milliseconds off of that even more, but that's well within the frame budget we have, which is 16 milliseconds, right? And that's 140. Oh, this is only 89 cards. I'm not displaying all the cards in here. So that's only 89 cards. So yeah, I think there's still room to improve that. I mean, that went down to 7.5. So there's still some tricks I can pull, but that is certainly much faster. Previously, with the node-based way of doing it, it was 115 milliseconds to place 89 cards. So we went from 115 milliseconds down to 9 milliseconds. And there are still pooling options available to me too. Like I can pool, instead of reinstantiating these card rendering servers all the time, I can pool these if I wanted to. I could either pool the base card class as well, or just remove the ref counted. So there's no Godot interop penalty. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this, but we're not done with the card rendering server implementation. So yeah, we're gonna have to do that. But I'm gonna take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we'll continue on. Let me just commit this. Get card turn indicator working. So my plan is just to basically try to bring everything over 1-to-1 as much as possible. So we're just going through this card here. So we've got the card background. We're going to need the legendary effect. We're going to need to add that. The turn indicator was the most important one. But yeah, we're going to need to set up more materials for all these things. And then we'll figure out, yeah, that card effect there. So that's going to need to be there. The alchemy effect. So we're going to have more materials to add here. How does this work? Okay. What else? Yeah, so yeah, we're basically just going through this card scene here and just implementing each of these nodes, whatever these nodes are accomplishing. We're going to implement all of those in the rendering server, and then there will be some tricky things, like I don't know how this back buffer copy is going to work. It may be possible for me to... I don't know. We'll see. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. But anyway, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we will continue on. All right, I'm back. Okay, let's see here. Which one do we want to do next? Fortunately, I think that the rest of these effects are not going to be nearly as not going to be nearly as bad as the card turn indicator, because the card turn indicator needed a bunch of like game state logic, or it needed to handle a bunch of game state logic. But for like this this alchemy effect here. Now, one thing that's weird about this is I probably don't want to create new noise textures for all these things. So what I might do is, let me think about this. This is a case where I'm wondering if I can save this material and just like skip a bunch of steps. So if I change, I might have to, let's see. Do we want to do the alchemy effect next? Is that the next? Yeah, we might as well. We got to do them all at some point. So we do the alchemy effect here. I might change this to something like 512 by 512. And then what we can do is we can change the noise frequency down quite a bit. Probably slow that down as well. So we do card alchemy. Do I have the noise speed in here somewhere? That's probably okay. So I just don't want to be creating a noise texture, because previously what I was doing, and this may have been adding to some of the overhead, is creating a noise texture that basically matched the size of the card, but I don't think that's really that necessary. I could just share the same large enough noise texture between all cards, and then I can share the shader material as well. So we'll go to material, we'll do card alchemy effect, I guess. Save that. So then what I should be able to do is in here, I should be able to just load that and then just stick it on. This is a material, we can call it a shader material, I guess. Card alchemy material. Load shader material. Oops. So basically anything that doesn't need to have the uniforms modified on like a per card basis can just be a shared material. Okay, so we're gonna do that now. So create turn indicator, create alchemy effect. Okay. So alchemy effect RID canvas item, set canvas item texture. Oh, do I need to have a texture for this? Yeah, I need the border mask. So it might be a good idea to get the border mask in here, so I don't need to keep fetching it. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter that much, but we'll pass this in. Create alchemy effect, texture 2D, border mask. Border mask.getRID. Oh, I can just pass in the border mask there. Cool. Texture 2D, border mask. Okay. Canvas items, set material. Hard alchemy material, get RID. I think that's right. Now I think I want this to be visible by or invisible by default. So we'll do rendering server canvas item set visible alchemy effect RID to false. So that's visible by default, invisible by default, I should say. So we've got the alchemy effect. So I think that's basically it for the alchemy effect. Now I need to actually figure out update visuals. So I think this update visuals was previously responsible for changing the alchemy effect. Update visuals. Yeah, so this is previously what it looked like. So I think I'm going to need to probably do all this again. Well, we won't worry about the buff visuals just yet either. So we're going to connect to all those signals. And then in here, update visuals. I don't know why that's here. We'll get rid of that. Get rid of this. Okay, so here we're going to need to store the alchemy effect RID. Maybe I should be more specific. Canvas item RID. Down here, alchemy effect canvas item RID. Remove var. Okay. And then we can set the visibility here. Rendering server canvas item set visible. And there we go. All right, I guess we'll just see if that works. Any bets on if that's going to work? Get your bets in before it starts, before the game starts. Get your bets in. Is it going to work? Here we go. It did not work. Emerson was right. It did not work. Well, shoot. Now we... Oh, did I not call... No, I did call create alchemy effect. Update visuals. Oh, maybe I'm not calling... Maybe because I didn't call update visuals here. Emerson got it right. You don't have any faith in me, which I guess is was appropriate in this situation. That's all right. We're going to try it again. Now it worked. Look at that. We've got the alchemy effect now on the card. I may want to change this alchemy effect because it did change a little bit. Fast noise light. Maybe that's better. I don't know. I can play with these later, for sure. Let's do it with a bigger card and see what that looks like. Oh yeah, that looks cool. That looks better. So the alchemy effect is back in place. Excellent. We're just going to knock these out. Cool. Okay, so the alchemy effect is done. What is this card effect? Oh my. Oh, I think I accidentally changed the, we'll make this unique. I think I accidentally changed that. We'll change the, we'll do this one next though. This will be interesting, I think. So the problem with this shader, here is that it's just sampling the noise UV, the same UV from the noise texture as the UV from the card. But the problem with that is that, you know, if the card is really tall and not very wide, then I'm going to get the effect is going to be crunched down, right? So what I almost want to do is I want to like match, I want to be sampling like the exact pixels, right? So if the card is 18 by 36, I want to be sampling an 18 by 36 pixel area of the noise texture and not, you know, doing it with the normalized UVs. Now I could sit here and figure out how to do that myself, or we could just get our handy little guy Claude out and tell him to do it. And that's what we're going to do. In this shader, I want the noise area that's sampled to be equal to the source texture size. For instance, source texture is 18 by 36 pixels. It should sample an 18 by 36 area of the noise texture. You're using Claude as well, yeah. Claude is pretty good. I mean, it's really good for shaders. Like, shaders are the only things in this game that I like truly vibe code. And usually I just go through like 5 rounds of back and forth with Claude, and then I have exactly the shader that I wanted. And mostly that's just because shaders are hard, number one, and number two, like, I don't really want to be spending 2 hours on a shader that I could bang out in, you know, 5 minutes, right? So it's been the only model I use for coding tasks at this point. Nothing else comes close. Yeah, it's really good. All right, let's see if that worked. Oh my, well, I think it did work. I just need to tweak some of these parameters now. But welcome back to the stream, by the way, Nick. Good to see you. So we just changed some of these time. Change some of these time variables, which are hard-coded, but that's all right. And then we can turn the noise frequency down even more. Maybe 2.5. We could also modify the frequency here. I didn't break the alchemy effect, did I? I don't think so. Okay. So that's probably good. Yeah, that will work. So now the reason why I did that is because I can use a single 512 by 512 noise texture for all the cards. And it will just sample an area that's equivalent to the card size. Now, the thing is, I have this mask texture, so I'm going to need a new texture for this as well. But let's go ahead and save this material. Save as card debuff effect. Save that there. Good to see you too, buddy. Well, thank you. So that needs to come before the alchemy effect, so we'll create that now. I'm going on an adventure and using the rendering server directly, Nick, for my cards. Okay, so we could go to create debuff effect. This, we'll just go ahead and do this, create debuff effect. We'll do mask. We're going to need to store that RID as well. Private RID debuff effect canvas item RID. Back down. Debuff effect canvas item RID. I'm going to set that to visible false. So now I need to figure out when to actually enable that. Update visuals. Update buff visuals. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. So I'll grab this. Rendering server dot set dot canvas item set visible. Debuff effect canvas item RID. There we go. Where else is this supposed to be called? Or is this just called in response to update buff visuals null? I don't think I need that. Okay. Cool. So I actually think that this will work with one of the cards that I already have set up here. Hello, talking heads. Good evening to you as well. Welcome to the stream. So let's see if this works. So this should paralyze that. Okay, that's not toggling the visibility. Oh, interesting. It's also not rendering on top. Do I need to set... Uh-oh. Oh, the art needs to be first, right. So background, then art, then debuff effect, then turn indicator. The turn indicator is not being set to invisible though when it's paralyzed. So we're gonna need to figure out why that's not working. But this should work now. Oh, interesting. That's not working either. Why is that not working? I think the mask texture is being set wrong. Get card mask. Absolute occupied cells. No, that should work. Oh, this is the wrong material? Right, I'm using the wrong material. I need to load the proper material. Copy this UID. Card debuff. Private, static, read-only, shader material, card debuff material. And then we need to put that in here. That should work now. Gradually moving everything over. Just very gradually. There we go. I don't know, is the turn indicator supposed to go away? I think it is. On card buff added, right. I don't think, maybe I didn't fill those out. Nope, those work. Oh, am I never registering the base card? Is that why? No, that is working. Interesting. Let me just see if that ever prints buff added. It should. It should, but if it doesn't, then we're going to have a problem. If it doesn't, we're going to have a problem. Buff added, yeah. So that is working. The set visible is not, though. Does it go away if the combat ends? It does. So why is that not... Why is that not working? Well, I guess we could put a breakpoint here and see what's going on. I'm getting very close to being done. I think the major... So I know how to work with the materials. I know how to add the shaders and change their uniforms and all that stuff with the rendering server. The big thing now is going to be figuring out how to do the various tween animations that I have in place, which are probably going to be a big pain in the rear, but that's okay. Should hide turn progress as false. Oh, I wonder if... Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe the turn progress doesn't get reset for paralysis. Maybe I'm just understanding this wrong. Should hide turn progress. Oh yeah, paralysis never actually hid the turn progress, so I guess that makes sense, because you don't, if a card is paralyzed, you don't want to like lose the information about how close it is to executing, I guess. So, okay. So I think it's actually working. I was just doing it, just thinking about it wrong, I guess. Okay, that's working pretty good. So we can call that good as well. We're getting there. We are getting there. Let me just make sure. I just want to check in on the how long this is taking to render all of the cards again. Hopefully it's roughly the same. Oh, we're up to 59 milliseconds now, but that could just be the initial load of all those materials. So if we look at 37.37, 59, so that's what? Yeah, I mean, that's still like 22 milliseconds. Are there any other things in here that are taking a while? Some of these are like 0.1 millisecond, which is weird. 0.1 milliseconds. Some of these are very quick though. So yeah, I think I just need to keep checking in on this, making sure that we're not ballooning the times here. Yeah, some of these are like 0.1 milliseconds. I don't know where that's coming out. I also like Skull Tower, 12 milliseconds. So the AI said that could likely be due to garbage collection. So if we do 37 plus 12, that's 49 out of a total time of 59. So we're looking at, like, without those spikes from the aberration and that Skull Tower, we're looking at 10 milliseconds to do 143 cards or something like that. Or it says down here. Yeah, 143 cards. So without those spikes, it's 143 cards in 10 milliseconds. And like I keep saying, there are all kinds of levers I can still use to further reduce that time. But if I go into this menu, seems pretty instant to me. We're at 7.4 milliseconds to render all these 89 cards on this board. And by the way, that's not just rendering the card, right? This is measuring the actual placement of the cards on the board too. So placing them in this packed format and creating all of them and rendering all of them, that's all taking 7 to 8 milliseconds. So that's great. That's great. Previously, again, it was like 115 milliseconds for 89 cards. So that's quite a speed up, and I would love to drive this down as much as possible within reason. But yeah, I mean, we've got it so that I'm like assigning multiple canvas items and multiple materials per card that's being created, and I'm also connecting to all these signals and everything, and we're still looking at 8 milliseconds for 89 cards to create all those. So that's good. I'm happy with that. So you cut the time to render cards way down. Well done. Yeah. I ended up going with the rendering server stuff. And a lot of that overhead is still coming from the fact that this is still a Node 2D. And also it's creating another Node 2D down here for the mouse area. So I may try to trim that down even more if I can. But we'll see. We'll see. What's your current max FPS range? I don't know. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous. I think I have VSync on too, so it's probably not gonna help. Not gonna be super useful. If I go to my profiler, start. Oh, do I not have? Oh, monitors maybe? Is it monitors? Yeah, my FPS is locked. I guess I could turn VSync off for a sec. I guess I should go into the full game and see. We look at monitors. Well, I'm on a 5080 RTX 5080, but with VSync off, it's 1100 frames per second. If I move the camera, the spike, it goes down to 600. Oh my gosh, that's not good. $600 frames. Oh gosh, we can't deal with that. It went down to 490. What if I have the menus open? What does it look like? 900. So yeah, it's good. I mean, I've had multiple people say that they played the playtest on like older devices and it was fine. So I've been working on a batch sprite 2D node in my Godot fork, which helps mitigate a lot of these issues from separate node 2Ds. Pretty insane what you can achieve at that level with no... I don't know what FFI is. But yeah, I mean, I'm shocked with how easy it is to use the rendering server. I might opt for that more often when I know that I'm going to have like a lot of sprites on screen that need to be handled. It's actually relatively easy, and I could see it being like the case, like you could easily build your own framework on top of this too, even without like modifying the source code. I'm seeing opportunities here where I could maybe create my own like frameworks in the C# layer for like interacting with the rendering server system and probably the physics server system and all that stuff. Foreign function interface is the overhead cost related to C# talking to Godot. Oh, gotcha, okay. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm very happy. We should definitely talk offline. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. I mean, that Godot fork sounds awesome. I think I saw a couple of open like Godot proposals for like creating, I think basically what you're creating now, which is, you know, having like a way of doing, I think it was the flock system or whatever, like being able to create a system that can handle just like thousands of individual sprites. But yeah, I think the kind of unfortunate thing about having to hook into the rendering server yourself is it is really nice to be able to use the editor to configure everything and see everything and like control the ordering of everything. So if there was a way to like do that in the editor, but then at runtime, that like all those nodes get stripped out and just hook into the rendering server directly, that would be super cool. But yeah, we should definitely talk. That'd be cool. That would be cool. Okay, but anyway, I think that'll be it for me for now. I will probably not... probably not be streaming again this afternoon, but we'll see. So join the Discord if you want to be notified when I go live next. You can also wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. It is a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you can use alchemy to create your own builds and your own synergies. So give it a wish list if that sounds interesting to you. You can also check out all the other links below. Those are all the ways you could support me. And yeah, keep an eye on the Discord for when I go live next, if I go live again today. Otherwise, I'll be back at it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, take care everyone. Bye-bye.